Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden. Today we are going to be doing all of the multiplayer games that we played in the month of November and just overall the stats for November. I usually actually do this video first, but I did my solo games that I played in November first, which if you guys haven't gone and seen that, it is right up here if you want to go check that out. But yes, I decided to just switch them this month just to, spice it up a bit. So we're going to be now doing all of the multiplayer games and stats for November. And I think I mentioned in the solo video, but November was not the most amazing for gaming. It was a very busy month. I had my sticker shop / planner shop anniversary on the 2nd. I had to do a bunch of orders for that, and then we went to California, and then there was Black Friday, and it was just a very, very busy month, but overall it was an amazing month. It was a really good month, and I'm excited to talk about all the games that we played this month, which I will say right now that there's not a ton of physical games that I have here to show you guys because a lot of the games that we played this month are actually games that we do not own, and I was really happy to get the opportunity to play all these games. So unfortunately there won't be any really nice b-roll for some of these, but if you guys are interested in any of these games, I actually want to start linking down below when I talk about a game. I want to link the Board Game Geek page for it, so I'll have all the links to the Board Game Geek pages for each of the games down below. Penny is down here with me if you heard that, but she got groomed today, so she's looking very, very cute. I know a lot of you guys love seeing Penny on the video, so here she is looking beautiful. Just finished her spa day. Okay, sorry for bugging you. Goodbye. But anyways, like I was saying, I will have all the Board Game Geek pages down below to all the games that I chat about today. So if there's no b-roll for a specific one, definitely go check out that page. There are a ton of pictures over there. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the board game stats, and then we will chat about all the games that we played in November. So getting into the stats for November, I do use the Board Game Stats app if you're interested in knowing which one I use. The app looks like this if you want to go check it out. I believe it's on iOS and Android, but for November, we played 18 different times, which is very, very low. And then that is 16 different games, and I think about 5 to 7 are new to me. I can't exactly remember the ones that I don't have physically in front of me, but I will let you guys know as I chat about them which ones were new to me this month. So those are the stats, and then I do want to start adding the Board Game Arena stats for the month because I think I mentioned in the last video, I think last month, I said that I wasn't going to include it, but then a few people in the comments were like, you totally should. Gaming is gaming. Even if you're just sitting at your computer, it's still playing a board game. And guys, I have been freaking loving Board Game Arena. Every single morning when I get up, I do my turns on Board Game Arena, and then every single time I go to bed, I also do my turns, and then throughout the day, I also do them as well. And if you guys did not know, I do have a Discord if you guys want to go and check that out. It's always linked down in the description box, and we just recently made the Game Garden group on BGA as well, and that's who I've been playing BGA games with. So if you want to come over there and hang out and chat about board games and just a bunch of different things, as well as play some games on BGA, definitely go check out the Discord and all of those things. But yes, I think that is everything for the stats. But for the games that I did play on BGA, I played Seven Wonders Architects, which is very fun. I heard a lot about people not liking Seven Wonders Architects as much as Seven Wonders. I personally am a huge fan of Seven Wonders. I've always been. It's been one of my favorite games for the longest time, since I've been in the board game hobby. So yes, I wanted to try Seven Wonders Architects, and it is a lot more simple. You are not really drafting from cards in your hand, but you're drafting from piles on your left and right, and then there is one in the middle. The piles on your left and right are face up, so you can see what you can choose from on the left and right, but the one in the center is face down, so you're kind of on your turn just picking either your left or right, picking one of those cards and putting it in your tableau in order to build your wonder. Everyone has this unique wonder that they're trying to build from the bottom to the top, and you're trying to collect different resources. There are resource cards, there are the blue cards and the red cards and the green cards, all of the different cards that I'm familiar with the base game of Seven Wonders, but the overall gameplay of it is a lot more simplistic, and you're just trying to gather those resources in order to flip a piece of your wonder. I almost said your 7 wonder. Your singular wonder. And then I think it's the first person to get, like, to finish their wonder is the winner. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I won. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I was on a winning streak for a little bit on BGA, which very proud of myself because I have told you guys many, many times. I typically don't win board games. I enjoy the journey, not the destination or the winning of the game. So yes, I was very proud of myself for winning quite a few games in a row. But anyways, we played Seven Wonders Architects. I play a ton of Castles of Burgundy, Viticulture, Azul, Ticket to Ride, Welcome to, Sushi Go. I also played Railroad Inc. for the first time on BGA in November, and I really, really enjoyed Railroad Inc. So I think I want to get some of the Railroad Inc. games, like the physical games. I think there are 4 different colors. I think there is blue, red, green, and yellow. And then I believe there's also like additional dice that you can get. And I kind of want to start building up a little collection of Railroad Inc. because I really enjoyed it. It is a roll and write where you are rolling die on your turn, and then the die have different like railroad shapes and road shapes that you have to put into your grid, and you're trying to connect all of the different roads together, and any roads at the end of the game that do not connect to anything is negative points. And I really, really enjoyed it. We played the blue one on BGA, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. You can play it solo on BGA as well. So yeah, I think I want to maybe get some of the Railroad Inc. games. Let me know which one of the 4 colors are your favorite, if any of the additional dice you recommend I get. But we did play the blue one, and I think I really enjoyed that one, but I don't know the difference between all of them. So if you do know, let me know down below. But Railroad Inc. was one of my faves from BGA. Also played My City, which is a pretty like basic game. It's pretty much just Tetris style pieces that you're trying to fit into just like some bare land, and you're trying to fit all the buildings into this grid, and it is like a campaign, so you play over and over again. And I did play quite a long campaign with a bunch of people on BGA, and it was fun. It's very basic. You're taking a Tetris shape and you're trying to place it somewhere, trying not to cover up trees because all the trees give you additional points, and you're trying to not have any empty spaces in your town, and you're trying to fill up your town with the different buildings. So yes, fun with that. And then also they just recently added Obsession to BGA. So I've been playing a ton of that over there, just trying to get a little bit better at the game because we do have it physically and we have been playing it physically as well, but I have been trying to play it more on BGA to kind of grasp the strategy a little bit better, and I think I'm getting slightly better at it, so thumbs up for that. But anyways, that is everything for my BGA plays. Let's move on to all of the physical games that I played in November, shall we? Okay, so starting off with November 1st, we did have a live stream of Hike It, which I've chatted about a few times. It was up on Kickstarter, and we did a live stream of that to show everyone how it plays. We really, really enjoy Hike It. We also played it 4-player. I don't know if I played it... Oh yeah, that was a little bit later. So this was just a 2-player game of Hike It. We really enjoyed that. I don't know if it'll still be up on the Board Game Garden Twitch channel, but we really enjoyed that. But moving on to the next time that I played some games, it was actually 2 days later on November 3rd, and this was actually the first time that I went over to Daryl's house for a game night. Daryl is like a local game designer, and he started hosting some game nights. Francis and I have been over together before, but this was when he wanted to start doing like weekly basis game nights. So we did go 2 weeks in a row. We haven't gone in 2 weeks just because Daryl has been busy with traveling and stuff. He went to, I think, Chicago, and then he also went to PAX Unplugged, but hopefully we will start it up again. But yes, this was the first game night that I went to, but we ended up playing 2 different games that night. I got the opportunity to finally play Flamecraft multiplayer, which I think I've mentioned this multiple times, but it's always been when I was talking about playing it solo, which I've really enjoyed it solo, but I think I might enjoy this multiplayer more than I do solo. Typically it's the opposite way around because I just love solo gaming and I love being able to take my time and not worry about making people wait and stuff, but I really enjoyed this multiplayer. I don't know what it is about it multiplayer, but it's very, very enjoyable. I love going to the different shops and getting the resources and trying to grab the different enchantments before other people do and firing off the different dragons and stuff like that. And the town definitely filled up quicker and people used a lot more of the buildings or the shops than what typically happens in a solo game. So it was a lot of fun being able to use a bunch of different shops and kind of experiment with different abilities and stuff like that. So that is Flamecraft. If you want to know more about that one, I did chat quite a bit more about it in, my solo gaming videos. I think I've chatted about it twice so far in the last 2 months. So that is Flamecraft. You are an artisan, or no, you're not an artisan dragon. You're trying to help out artisan dragons, I believe, and you're going to different shops and collecting resources and placing dragons in those shops and firing off those dragons to do different abilities, to get enchantments, to get victory points. Ultimately, you're trying to get the most victory points, and it is a very cute, very fun game. So that is Flamecraft. And then this is a game that I do not have, but it is a game that I really want now since playing it for the first time, and that is Cubitos. This is one that a lot of people have always chatted about, and a lot of people compare it to something like Quacks of Quedlinburg, where you are building a bag of chips, and it's kind of this push your luck. It's the same thing with Cubitos, but you are using dice, and you're actually buying these different dice that have different abilities, and you're rolling these dice. But if you roll your die and all of them are blank, that means that you bust and you don't get any of your spending money and your different powers and stuff that you've built up. So very similar to Quacks of Quedlinburg with a little bit of that push your luck, but it also has a little bit of a race aspect where you are rolling those dice. Some of the die give you steps on, or I guess moves on the track, and you're trying to get to the end before everyone else. And again, you're pushing your luck to try to get as far as possible and make money to buy more dice. And it's just a very, very enjoyable push your luck racing game. Definitely recommend. But yes, that is Cubitos. It is published by AEG, and I believe it's John D. Clare. But yeah, we played a lot of racing games in the month of November. Actually, not really a lot. We played 2 racing games, but 2 new to me racing games that have now made me very interested in getting more racing games. So that is Cubitos. That was the 2 games, or those were the 2 games that we played for our first game night. Moving on to the 5th, we again played Hike It, but this time we played our first 4-player game of Hike It. Very, very fun. I think I enjoyed it more at 4 players than I did 2, just because there was more interaction on the board with, trying to go to different places and trying to compete with more people and race to get your 3 waypoints. It was just so much fun. And we ended up having, I think, 2 people make it to the end and turn into bears, which is one of the best parts of Hike It. Basically, if you make it to the end of your trail before other players do, you get to become one of the bears and you can chase them out of the forest. Very, very fun. So we played a 4-player game of Hike It. Really enjoyed that. And then we also did a live stream of Zoo Tycoon the board game. This is another one that I do have. It's down here, but this is one that I have chatted about before. I believe it was in the last month's wrap up. So if you guys want to know more about that, go check out that video. We have been really enjoying Zoo Tycoon the board game. We've played it a few times 2-player, but we are excited to try that one with more players. We're hoping to maybe play it with our friends Tom and Asha eventually, but I feel like it's going to be a very long game at a 4-player count, so we're excited about that. But yeah, we played a 2-player game of that on the live stream. But moving on to the following day, which was November 10th, this was the second time that I made my way over to Daryl's house for a game night. And this time we actually only played 1 game because it took us so long to learn the game and try to figure it out. Pretty long game, but it was a lot of fun, and it's been a game that I've wanted to try ever since seeing it at Gen Con. Daryl did go to Gen Con, so I think he got a copy while he was there, and that is the game called Woodcraft. This one is, again, one that I don't have a physical copy of, but I would love to eventually get that one. But basically, you are woodland elves, and you are woodcrafters, and you're trying to craft different things to fulfill orders, and the way you fulfill orders is with your dice. And the cool mechanic in this one is that you can actually manipulate the dice. I've been really enjoying dice manipulation games, and this one has this really unique dice manipulation where you can actually chop a dice in half. So if you needed like a 4 and a 2, you could actually take the 6 die of that color and then chop it in half with your blade, and you would end up getting a 4 and a 2. So I think that was really cool. There are different colors of dye, and you can like grow the dye in a like tree plant, and there's just a bunch of different things. I will say Woodcraft has you know, your typical Euro style of gameplay where there are just so many things to do. And basically on your turn, you are just picking one of the actions from the center wheel, and you are taking that tile of that action and you're placing it on the second or like the next segment of the wheel. And once I think all of them get to another section, the wheel like turns a little bit. It's a very, very cool middle board and a really cool mechanic. And you are getting like additional resources for whatever action you're taking based off of where that tile is on the board. And you're doing different actions and trying to manipulate the dice in order to get those specific numbers and colors of dice to fulfill orders. And it is just very, very fun. I definitely recommend checking it out over on Board Game Geek, but that is Woodcraft. Like I said, it did take us quite a long time to play it, but overall I really enjoyed it and I'm excited to play it again in the future, hopefully. But yes, that is everything for the 10th. And I think the next time that we actually played multiplayer games was once we were in California, which we got to play a few different games. I was hoping to be able to play more, but we ended up going to a board game cafe with Jamie. Jeff was unfortunately not feeling good, so he did stay at the hotel. But we went to a little board game cafe. I think it was called Meeple Family, and it was like right behind the hotel that we were staying in. So we ended up playing 2 different games, one being, I do have the physical game of it, but it's just a very basic game, but we all kind of just felt like playing it. Very cozy game of Calico. We ended up playing this. It's been a while since I've played Calico multiplayer, and I think we chatted about playing Speed Calico, which is just trying to play Calico as fast as possible and not really think too much about your turns. Typically with Calico, a lot of people get a lot of analysis paralysis, and we try to avoid that by playing Speed Calico. Honestly, like, we were pretty quick. I think we all play enough board games that we kind of just, you know, go with the flow and it's pretty quick, but we ended up playing that and it was a lot of fun. Just cozy, chill game of Calico. This is published by AEG and Flat Out Games. It's just a very fun puzzly game where you have this quilt and you're trying to build up patches on your quilt in order to attract cats and get different colors of buttons, and you're trying to do like different patterns and different colors and stuff like that. So that is Calico. And then we also played another game called Flamme Rouge or Flamme Rouge, which this was the second of the 2 racing games that we played in November, and I really, really enjoyed Flamme Rouge. It's a game about a bike race, basically, where you have 2 different cyclists. One is a sprinter and one is something that starts with an R, and you are basically on your turn taking a stack of cards. I think you're picking 4 from each pile. Each biker does have a pile of cards. You're picking up 4 and then choosing 1, and you're putting it down face down in front of you for each of them, and then you're all flipping them at the same time. And that's how many spaces the biker moves. And you only can use cards once. So once you use a card with a specific number, you put it in the discard pile. So if you do use all of your like 9s and your 8s right off the bat, you're kind of going to trail behind towards the end of the race. So you're trying to kind of pace yourself and use your cards in the correct ways. If you ever do get to a point where you are in the front or you have more than 1 empty space in front of you, you do get an exhausted card, which is a 2. So once you get more of those like 2 cards in your pile, you're more likely to have to choose those cards. So it's kind of representing your biker getting exhausted and not being able to go as far. So very, very fun. And then there's a little bit of like, I forget what it was called, slipstreaming, where if you have 1 space in front of you, all of those, or like if a group has 1 space in front of them, all those slipstream, so they all move up 1. But if there's more than 1, like I said, you get an exhausted card. So very, very fun game. I really enjoyed that one. Francis and I do want to pick that one up and possibly look into getting Heat as well, which is a new one from Days of Wonder, which I believe is from the same designers of Flamme Rouge. So excited about that, and just about getting into racing games. Jeff and Jamie from Boss of the Meeple have always talked about loving racing games, and I'm excited that we gave them a chance, and I really enjoyed them. So that was everything for that night. That was the Friday night. And then the following day was actually the entire reason why we went to California, was to film with a bunch of creators. And we ended up going outside for a while and playing some games out there. And we also played one game inside altogether and filmed it, and that was Ready, Set, Bet. We played 2 rounds of Ready, Set, Bet. This is a game that is published by AEG, and it is this really fun horse racing party game. It is very chaotic, where basically there is one person rolling die, and whatever number that is, that horse moves up. And I believe that if you ever roll the same number twice, the horse moves up double or more than typical. So, and you all have a bunch of different chips in your hand, and you are kind of waiting it out and kind of seeing what's happening with the horses, and then placing your chips out at any point, and kind of feeling out what you think will be the end result of the horse race. And then whoever wins, whatever horses wins, if you have your number on that spot, you get a certain amount of points, and whoever has the most points after, I believe, 4 rounds. We only played 2 rounds. I think we played half a game. But after 4 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. And it was very, very fun. Like I said, it was very chaotic, and everyone was just so loud and so energetic, and it was just so much fun. Even just playing 2 rounds, I can already tell that I would love to play that game again, and that it would just be such a fun game to play with a big group of people, just because the energy in the room was just awesome. So that was the first game that we played on Saturday. And then we also played Green Team Wins, which is this guy right here. This is published by 25th Century Games. This is such a fantastic party game. I do think that it is the best with a bunch of people. I think we had the full player count of 12 people while we were playing this, and it was so much fun. And it's really fun to see what people answer. But basically you have a bunch of different cards. Everyone gets a dry erase board, and your full main goal for Green Team Wins is that you want to be on the green team. You don't want to be on the orange team. And how you get on the green team is you answer these different cards, and you're trying to answer the majority. So whatever the majority of people answer. So you're trying to kind of just think about what everyone at the table is going to answer, and hopefully answer the same as the majority of people. If you do, you go onto the green team and you get a certain amount of points. And you do this over and over again. If you stay on the green team, you get more points. But if you don't answer the majority, you go back onto the orange team. And it is just so much fun. There's different types of cards. There's fill in the blank, there's best of 3, there's this or that. And I think those are the main 3 cards that you're answering. So for example, a card might be taco blank, and then everyone has to answer. And then if, for example, Taco Tuesday was the majority and you answered that, you would go onto the green team, you would get some points, and then it would go on from there. And it is just such a fun game, and a very, very enjoyable one with big groups. So that is Green Team Wins. We ended up playing that, like I said, with a ton of us outside while waiting for people to film, and it was a good time. And then lastly, a game that I do not have, but we really want to get now. It is just a small little card game called Fuji Flush, and this is one that I believe Jeff and Jamie brought, and I think they've chatted about it before, but it is such a fun game. Honestly, it's one that I think I want to get for a collection, just because we need more quick playing, fun card games to bring traveling and stuff. The only thing is, I think Fuji Flush is really hard to find, but basically it's a little bit hard to explain. I'm going to try my hardest. But everyone starts with a hand of cards, and there are a bunch of different numbers. I think there's numbers 1 to 20, and basically everyone starts with a hand of cards, and you're trying to get rid of all your cards. And so one person starts with a number, and I think you're trying to play a number higher than that person, and if you do, that person gets to trash their card. That doesn't sound right. I forget how it plays, but it's a very fun game where you're trying to trash all of your cards and play numbers either lower or higher than the person beside you. You could also play the same number as the person beside you, and if you continue that train, then eventually I believe it gets around and like some people can trash their cards. I don't know. I forget how it plays, but it was very fun. And Francis and I were like working together and we ended up winning, which was pretty awesome. Like I said, I don't usually win games, but yes, did a horrible job explaining that, but Fuji Flush, take it from me, was a very fun card game that we now want in our collection. But that was actually everything for our trip to California. I did play Sprawlopolis solo, but I did chat about that in the last solo video, so I think there are only 2 more games that we have to chat about. One we ended up playing a few days after we got home, and that is this game right here. I really wanted to play this one because we've had it for a bit. This was sent to us by Lucky Duck Games, and that is Tidal Blade's Banner Festival. This is a really fun take on a trick-taking game where you have like added things that you're also doing. Basically on your turn, you're going to be playing a card with a number, and you're going to be doing different things based off of where in the trick taking you end. So if you are the highest number in the trick taking, if you are one of the middle numbers or the lowest, you do different things. I don't want to explain it too much. I think I chatted about this one in the gifting garden that I did a few videos back, but it's very fun. It's a really cool take on trick taking where you are trick taking, but then you're also getting to do additional things like moving your little ski-doo around to get points, or putting out your banners in order to have area majority. And then I believe if you get the lowest, you get to do the action on the card you played. So very fun take on trick taking and just adding a little bit of additional things to it. Instead of just being trick taking, it is a very fun game. The art is absolutely stunning, and we really enjoyed that one. We played it at 2 players, but I think it would be better with more people, so I'm excited to play that one with 3 or 4 players in the future. So that is Tidal Blade's Banner Festival. And then lastly, we do have a game that I believe I've chatted about before, but both of us, Francis and I, this was when we were live streaming on the 29th. We really wanted to play just like a chill game, and we haven't played this one in a while, so we ended up getting out Parks. Like I said, I think I've chatted about it before, but basically you are going along this trail. You can only go forward, you can never go back, and you're collecting different resources in order to visit parks, which are represented by cards, and each card gets like you certain victory points, and you can buy gear that helps you buy cards and get discounts off of cards, and it is such a fun game. I love Parks so much. Definitely recommend it. It is one of my favorites. The art in Parks is absolutely amazing, and it's just such a chill game that really just brings me a lot of comfort. So I don't know if this was in my comfort games, but it definitely does bring me a lot of comfort. I really enjoy Parks. So that was our last game that we live streamed in November. Hello, this is Jenna from a few days later, and I was editing this video and I got to the outro and I realized that I completely forgot to do my top 3 of the month. So I'm gonna do that now, switch out the outro to this one, but for November, my top 3 plays, number 3 is going to be Cubitos. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said throughout the video, Francis and I started playing more racing games, and I think Cubitos was my favorite out of the new ones that we got introduced to in November. So number 3 is Cubitos. And then number 2 is going to be Woodcraft. I really enjoyed this one. I'm a huge fan of Euro games where you are doing just a bunch of different things, and I feel like if I play Woodcraft more, I'm going to be able to take more different paths and do different things. So yes, really enjoyed that one. And then my number 1 is the wonderful Flamecraft. Like I said in the video, I really enjoyed this multiplayer. Like I said, I enjoyed it even more than I did solo, and I really enjoyed it solo. So multiplayer is like even higher than that. So yes, that is my number 1, Flamecraft. I just love this game so much. And yeah, that is going to be everything for this video. If you guys enjoy, Give it a big thumbs up, comment down below all of the games that you guys played in the month of November, some of your favorites. I love chatting down there with you guys. If you're not subscribed already, definitely join the garden, become part of the garden. You can be whatever you want, a flower, a garden gnome, a rock, whatever you think you represent. I'm being so nerdy right now. But yeah, I'd love to have you in the garden. And we are so close to my goal for 2022, which is 10,000 subscribers. I think we're like 300 away, which is crazy. So if you guys want to join, definitely do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And yeah, that's going to be everything. Love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.